Welcome my friends, Seven Gray here. Today I have another van tour. This is a step van that Duane owns, and I'm going to do a tour of his rig and let him tell you all about it.
My name's Duane, and this is my 2001 Workhorse step van. It has a 5.3 liter Chevy V8 gasoline with a 3-speed automatic transmission plus overdrive, and it has a 15-foot cargo space behind the driver's compartment, and we bought it last February and have turned it into a living space that I now live in full time. This is my awning that we installed. It was a very inexpensive Amazon purchase. It was actually marketed as a patio awning and not something that was specifically for RVs. I just got this nice shade cloth extension so that with the low winter sun it actually offers some shade to sit behind. It's also nice for shading the side window facing the sun, so I don't have to put up reflectix during the day. And I've just been using it for a little while, but I like it a lot. I have 2 windows on each side. They are basically just a custom order house window. The front windows open and have screens on them. They're double pane. The rear windows are double pane and do not open. They're installed and framed pretty much as a house window, and they're fairly inexpensive, and I like the light, and I like the looks inside and out. The truck came with a roll-up back door, the garage door type, which we completely removed and framed in the back wall, much like you would building a house wall, and then sided it with cedar. I bought this van particularly because it came with a liftgate, and I wanted to travel with my motorcycle, and it's worked out excellent for that. I installed 6 100-watt Renogy panels on the roof. They're all 6 are tiltable, and they're in the tilt position now for catching the winter sun, and they fold flat fairly easily. I always fold them down while I'm traveling, and I bought a Renogy full kit because I really didn't know what I was doing, and I thought that would make installation easier, which I believe it did. The space behind these doors is basically a garage space. It's about 20 inches deep. Have all my electronics for solar in here. 3 big batteries in here, the 2,000 watt inverter and the charge controller. I also have my propane bottles, 2 that are hooked into the system at all times, and plus a spare up on the shelf. Shelving on both sides to carry tools and accumulated junk that people put in their garages. Have a small door here that goes into the bedroom area that I can pass trash or whatever through, so that I don't have to walk around to get rid of my trash. I just dump it and carry it in the garage. The lift gate, I hired a welder to alter so that about 20 inches of it were cut off the back end of it to make the rig not quite so long. He added some components to for the chains and for the light mounting, and he took off the mechanism that causes the liftgate to fold up to the back of the truck. So now the function is only up and down, and the liftgate is always in the flat extended position. In the full down position, which you'll see in a second, I can very easily pull the motorcycle up from this side, have a wheel chock in the front to hold the front wheel, and 4 tie downs that I attach to the motorcycle with ratchet straps to hold it securely. The liftgate in the full up position is the transport position for the motorcycle, and to make it extra secure, there's these large pins that lock everything in place in case any part of the mechanism could fail. And found out that this also makes an excellent workbench, and we've had some nice dinners out here with numerous people. It's just the right height for serving food and even eating off of, so it's been very useful. In the driver's compartment, I've done just about no upgrades except for installing the monitor for the backup camera. It of course has power steering and power brakes. It came equipped with air conditioning, but I do not use the air conditioning because it's not functional. I don't have any plans to repair it, but I guess I could if I decide to in the future. It's very noisy to drive. These doors are noisy. There's wind noise, so I don't really care that the radio is fairly subpar either. It's dusty in here, and so I'm not really interested in making this into a nice living area. And but it drives nice. It's comfortable, although the seat will do me in after about 3 hours straight, but it drives well and it runs well, and I've had no mechanical problems of any major sort since I've started. I bought the vehicle with 82,000 miles on it, and now I'm just about 86,000 even, so I've put about 4,000 miles on it. Only about 2,000 since I've started living in it. I removed the existing front aluminum bulkhead and the aluminum sliding door and framed this in pretty much like the back wall in the rear, and installed just a pre-hung steel house door, half glass, again from Home Depot, and I like it a lot. It lets in a lot of light. I like the security. It's just like a front door at home with a deadbolt lock, and fairly well insulated and sealed to keep the dirt out of the living space. Just inside the front door on the port side of the truck is part of the kitchen area with my sink, microwave on a shelf, and standard kitchen type cabinetry. All the cabinets that we installed came from IKEA. We assembled them and installed them. A pretty simple and clean process, and I'm glad I went that way because it's worked out real well. I installed the 4-stage iSpring water filtration system, and the second spigot at the sink is just for filtered water that I use for drinking, cooking, coffee, tea, and the other spigot is unfiltered water just for washing. I have a 53-gallon freshwater tank that's under the bed in the back. This is the 12-volt power control center with the main wires coming in from the battery into the fuse box, and then some of the components are wired into this switch panel so I can control it from here. Water pump, water heater, backup camera, and bedroom lights. The ceiling lights are controlled on a dimmer switch here separately. This is an RV style 2-burner propane stove that's copper plumbed into the propane tanks in the garage. It's a match light, but I like it just fine. I use it every day. And I do not have an oven, but I haven't missed it. I have a nice large counter space. I like to cook and prepare food. This counter is where I do most of my cooking, and it also lifts off, and all of my 3 folding chairs fit down in here for traveling. This is a fold up simple table that I put up just for eating, but it's in a position where 3 people could sit and eat at the same time. I always keep it in the down position when we're not eating, and I don't have any permanent seating around it, but it suits me very well. This is a Cubic Mini wood stove. It's the Cub model, the smallest one made. It right now is my only source of heat, but besides of course the cook stove, but it's been very adequate, and I enjoy heating with wood. I've done a lot of it in the last many years, and I'm really happy that I chose this. Worked out very well, and it's cute. I have a full-size shower that I like a lot. I like to shower here rather than to have to go to campgrounds or truck stops or gyms, and I have a large enough water supply that it's generally worked out well. I try to shower once a week, which may not seem a lot for people living in homes, but for people living full-time on the road, it's very adequate, and I had a shower this morning. It doubles as a closet, but I can remove the clothes in the second closet rod in 15 seconds, throw it on the bed, and put it back when I'm done. The refrigerator, I don't know what volume it is, but it's a good size fridge. The brand is unique. It's marketed as off-grid kind of tiny home fridge. It is strictly 12 volt DC operated. There's no option for full voltage or propane, but it's worked very well. It's bolted to this countertop here so it can't move, and it also has a reasonable size freezer space. The cabinets under it are all my clothes storage on these metal slides. That works out well. Next to it is basically all food storage, coffee and tea, spices, supplements, food. I've installed this eyelet system with a dowel that locks everything together and attaches it firmly to the side of the cabinet so that nothing can move no matter how bumpy the roads get. This is all closet space with bifold doors inside. It's all storage. The on-demand water heater is also in the closet. This is the bedroom. My bed is 34 inches wide and 7 feet from wall to wall, so it's plenty long. Very comfortable. 3-layer foam mattress, 10 inches thick. I have a fixed window at each end of the bed. I have little spot reading lights at each end of the bed that are adjustable for brightness, and they can be turned off at the light or at the switch panel. And I have a fantastic fan over the bed because the windows do not open. This is a turbo cool evaporative cooler. Works similar to a swamp cooler that you would put on the roof of a house, only it's much smaller and a bit simpler. It also works as a adjustable or variable speed reversible fan. Mostly I use it as a fan, but when it does get real hot, the cooling of the evaporative cooler works very well and makes a huge difference when just running the fan is not enough.
Thank you, Duane, for the tour of your step fan. You've done an absolutely fabulous job with the build inside. I love the liftgate. I love the way you finished out the interior. There's lots of brilliant things that you've done with this. Thank you so much for the tour today. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Savor the moment, and we'll see you next episode.